Pentagon says it has alerted U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis over news that a fitness tracking app could have revealed sensitive U.S. military locations around the world. A spokesman said the Department of Defense is looking into tightening its wearables policy in light of the discovery. And U.S. Central Command says it is refining its privacy policies. Now, Strava lets its users sync their wearables and upload their exercise data, creating heat maps like this one. Only a 20-year-old student noticed that data uploaded by military users are lighting up U.S. bases on the maps as well. So I asked Nathan Ruser, how did these maps catch his attention?
One of the US's partner forces in Syria, the Syrian Democratic Forces, have control a large bit of territory in the northern part of Syria. And along that, there's one major highway that connects the western part of their territory to the eastern part of their territory. Along that highway, there's 4 or 5 US bases that have been built in the last few years, and each one of those bases lit up very brightly.
Well, it's an incredible find, and it's an incredibly sensitive find as well. You know, before you decided to go ahead and share it with the world, did you hesitate a bit?
I did. I posted it, and then after a minute or so, took it down for a few minutes, trying to work out if that's the best course of action. I think that the map itself doesn't provide an acute security risk to personnel on the ground, but rather is a useful wake-up call about needing to toe the line between personal convenience and operational security. Some of the other developments that have come out since the map's been released and the map's been discovered have more worrying consequences for immediate security of the personnel, though.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that you raised that question. And also we should point out that this is not the only app of its kind that collects massive amount of user data and can also put it online for other people to see. What is the lesson learned here, the big takeaway for app makers and for the intelligence community?
I think for the intelligence community and the military community especially, there needs to be a re-examination of the line made between what is a good idea for the personal convenience and the well-being of our soldiers fighting and the possible implications that these new technologies have. So, for example, with this application, which isn't the only one of its kind, but of quite a major one, it's well known that these applications are used by the military, and in many cases they're encouraged to motivate their soldiers to physically train. So yeah, the issue is definitely very much one of understanding the implications and having mid to higher level commanders making sure that the people on the ground that are using this technology to track their fitness understand the implications and understand the privacy concerns. And I think one of the biggest challenges to people trying to research this through open source data is the amount of time you just have to scroll through endless desert to look for something interesting. And here, the app itself signposts you straight to the interesting thing. So it's allowed a lot of discoveries all across the world. Some of the more interesting stuff, for example, is not always just in the military element of it. You can see a couple of smuggling routes between Ecuador and Colombia, and even a possible one between Mexico and the United States. But I think, to me, one of the ones that stood out the most is possibly the identification of CIA sites. For example, there's a lot of activity around a building which has been rumored to be the CIA site in Somalia.
20-year-old student Nathan Ruser speaking to me there. Now, Strava told CNN that the company is committed to helping people better understand its privacy settings and that it excludes activities that have been marked private or are in privacy zones.